Welcome to Algebra 2, Semester 1, Unit 4, Section 4.2. We have just this day left of graphing, I believe, and then we're on to new stuff. Today, I take you back to vertex form again. I'm not going to reteach it. I want you to go ahead and graph them. You've learned this twice. Go ahead and graph them and then just check your answers. Pause the video right now. And turn it on as you need to check answers. As you finish each one, you can check the answers. You can get your vertex from the HK value. Once you have the H value, that is also your axis of symmetry. And then minimum or maximum is determined off the sign out front. That's positive, so it's a minimum. And we just simply go to -2, -3, put a point, and then try your parabola up. Again, this is our H and our K value. Remember, the H does not include the negative. So we go +1 this time and up to 5. It is a reflection because of that negative sign, so it will be coming down this way. Axis of symmetry, right on that vertex. So my vertex was 1, 5. My axis of symmetry is 1. That is a max. Okay. Next one. Vertex is 3, 4. 3, -4, I'm sorry. That makes the axis of symmetry at 3. This one, oh, I'm sorry, it's a -4. I wrote that, -4. This one is a normal, not a reflection. It is wider than normal, so it goes over 1 up a half, over 1 up a half. When it goes over 2, it's going to go up 2 instead of 4. So it goes about like that. Okay, so it is a minimum. All right. Next page, this time we're going to be graphing in intercept form. You've graphed now in standard and in vertex form. Now you're going to go intercept form. Just read a few notes here. The A is still your slope, whether or not it's a smile or a frown, is whether or not that A value has a negative in front or not. The A gets real skinny and stretched if it's greater than 1. It gets shrunk down and wide if it's between 0 and 1. The axis of symmetry is simply taking this value and this value, adding them together and divide by 2, or on the graph you can go halfway between the 2 points. Okay, your x-intercepts are PO, which is from that formula, P, and QO, which is from that binomial. Okay, so right away we can see that this would be an x minus a -3, because our formula does contain negatives in the formula, so when we get down here, make sure and remember, it's going to be the opposite of how it looks. It's going to be 1 and -3 for our x-intercepts. So we go to +1, we go to -3, and now to find the axis of symmetry, we can take -3 plus 1 and divide by 2. That would end up being a -1. Or you can actually count between the points. We go over 1 here, go over 1 there, go over 1 here, go over 1 there, and we do end up on that -1 for the axis of symmetry. Now to find the vertex, we take our axis of symmetry, x value, and plug it in. We plug it into the equation. So we have 2 times -1 plus 3 times -1 minus 1. -1 plus 3 is positive 2. Bring down the 2. -1 minus 1 is -2. So we have 2 times 2 is 4, times -2 is -8. Our x-intercepts, just as we said in the formulas up above, we get them right here. It's -3 and -1. You can also get them off the graph once you've graphed it. So it's -3, 0, and 1, 0. Okay, so just a different way to graph those. We come down to our vertex of -8, right there, and we draw this parabola up. Okay. Okay, next one. Our x-intercepts will be at positive 4. You get it from that. And this would be a -1, so at -1. Okay. Axis of symmetry is halfway between those two, so we can take 4 plus -1 divided by 2 is 3/2, or 1.5. Okay. Now to find the vertex, we plug in 3/2 into the equation. Okay, so we have 2 times 3/2 minus 4 times 3/2 plus 1. 3/2 plus 1, that would be 2 over 2, so that's 5/2. 3/2 minus 4, minus 4 would be 8/2. So 3 minus 8 is -5/2 times 2. Those would reduce. -5 times 5 is a -25 halves, which would be about -6 1/4, just a little over -6. So we come down on the axis of symmetry, go just below -6, and now my x-intercepts again are right here and here, so I just connect. Oops, do that one a little bit narrow. Okay, that's what it should look like. Next one. We have a reflection. It's going to be going down. The x-intercept is -1. This x-intercept is +5. Halfway between would be 2. So we have +2 as our axis of symmetry, our vertex. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 minus 5 is -3. So together 3 times -3 is -9 times a -1 would be +9. So come up here, put it right there, and make sure that you draw it through the x-intercepts that you've already put on that. Oops, I missed that one. Put on that grid. Okay, close enough. So we have -1, 0, and 5, 0. Okay, these graphs are a little bit tough to get on there. Okay, next thing is just the top of this next page. I ask you to find the axis of symmetry for the parabola with these roots. So again, this has a root here of, it looks to me like it's a positive 2 and a negative 6. Put those together, we get negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So that's our axis of symmetry, is negative 2. On this one, it looks as though the points are 4 and 2. That's what I'm getting. So the axis of symmetry would be right here at 3. Okay. The last one, they don't show you the graph, and they only show you the axis intercepts, which is all that you need. You have 0 and negative 6, so my axis of symmetry would be at negative 3. Okay, the axis of symmetry is always halfway. The axis of symmetry is always halfway between the roots. That's also where the vertex is. Okay, that is the end of this unit of study. We will see you in class tomorrow.